Man, I've been seeing things. People were saying, hey, this could be Caitlin Clark's fault. And before I just flipped and lost my mind, I had to sit and think about it. And you know what, Caitlin Clark, this is all happening and it's your fault. You're the reason, your greatness, your star power, you are the reason for there being no 2026 WNBA season as of now. Because had you not been such a great player and a big star, these women wouldn't be demanding all of the stuff that they're demanding right now. So yeah, I guess technically it is your fault.
That's not hyperbole. That's the uncomfortable truth. Nobody in the WNBA wants to admit, because right now, as we're staring down a potential lockout that could cancel the entire 2026 season, there's one name that keeps coming up in these negotiations, and it's not the commissioner. It's not the players' union president, it's Caitlin Clark, a player who's been in the league for exactly one season. Here's what's actually happening. The WNBA owners have stopped responding to the Players Association. They've left them on read, and the players are spiraling, making increasingly aggressive public statements while the owners stay silent. This is negotiation 101 gone wrong. But to understand why we're here, you need to understand what changed between the last CBA negotiation and this one. And that change has a name, a number, and a massive television audience.
We are clearly moving toward a lockout. The WNBA owners are not playing games anymore with these players. They have had enough of the foolishness. They've had enough of the nonsense, and they have basically left their text messages on red, and the WNBPA is spazzing out, losing their mind. Now, I truly believe that if it was not for Caitlin Clark, for one, they would not be having all of these demands. I really don't believe so. We saw the ratings in the WNBA tank in left field once Caitlin Clark got hurt.
Let's talk numbers, because this is where it gets real. When Caitlin Clark played, the Indiana Fever averaged 1.2 million viewers per game on major broadcasts. That's not a typo. Individual regular season games were pulling NBA playoff numbers. The moment she went down with her ankle injury in late August, viewership dropped by 73% in 2 weeks, not a gradual decline. A cliff. Unrivaled, the new 3-on-3 league that's supposed to be the WNBA's off-season showcase is averaging 42,000 viewers per broadcast. There are high school basketball games in Indiana that draw more people. The arena they're playing in holds about 500 fans, and they're not filling it consistently. Meanwhile, the Players Association is using this league as leverage in CBA negotiations, claiming it proves they have options and bargaining power, but here's the critical detail everyone's missing. Before Caitlin Clark entered the league in April 2024, the WNBA players were operating under a CBA they signed in 2020. That deal was considered generous at the time. The players seemed content. There was no talk of opting out early. Then Clark arrives, brings an entirely new audience, generates revenue the league has never seen before, and suddenly that same CBA is unacceptable. The demands have exploded.
Another thing, this is the last thing. I promise this is the last thing, and I'm gonna let you guys go. The new fans have been pushed away from the jump. The new fans have been called names. There have been investigations on them. They have been shunned by WNBA media. They have been shunned from WNBA players. There has been so much regarding this new fans that are just so toxic. Like, we talked about it a few weeks ago on Sue Bird's podcast when Katie Nolan was going on and on about the new fans. Like, the new fans have been pushed away. There has been such a pushback on these new fans. However, the new fans are the reason that the players have the leverage that they do. The new fans are the reason that the Indiana Fever has to move their games from smaller arenas to bigger.
Rachel Demita is calling out what everyone's been watching happen in real time. These new fans, the ones who showed up because of Caitlin Clark, have been treated like invaders from day one. They've been called racist regardless of their own race. They've been investigated by the league. They've been kicked out of games for cheering the wrong way or laughing at the wrong moment. In July 2024, the WNBA actually launched an investigation into Indiana Fever fans for alleged harassment. The investigation found nothing, but the damage was done. The message was clear: we don't actually want you here, we just want your money. Then in September, when Angel Reese fans showed up to an Atlanta Dream game to cheer for Reese, WNBA media personalities criticized them for not supporting the home team. You can't have it both ways. Kelsey Plum called Caitlin Clark fans the dark side in an interview. Dijonai Carrington made multiple social media posts mocking Clark's fanbase. When Kelsey Mitchell and Caitlin Clark started developing chemistry on court, some WNBA veterans openly questioned whether Mitchell was betraying the league's culture by being too friendly with the rookie. This isn't speculation. These are documented incidents with dates and names attached. The Indiana Fever had to move games from Gainbridge Fieldhouse, their normal venue that holds 17,000, to larger arenas when Clark was playing. The Chicago Sky only played at the United Center, where the Bulls play, when the Fever came to town. Every other game was at their usual facility. The only time the Dallas Wings played at American Airlines Center was when Caitlin Clark visited. This is measurable, trackable impact.
Stir the pot, keep cooking. You cooking right now. Rachel is cooking. She's 100% spot on. Bro, all the new fans that Caitlin Clark brought is the reason why when she shows up, y'all get to go play in the big boy gym. The only time Paige Bueckers played in American Airlines is when Caitlin Clark is in town. The only time Angel Reese is playing in United Center where the Chicago Bulls play is when Caitlin Clark comes to town. That is because of the new fans. All of this viewership, all of these companies wanting to throw more money, it's because of all the eyeballs of the new fans. And y'all have done everything in y'all power to take a dump on them, crap on them, call them racist, start fake investigations. Y'all getting them kicked out of games if they laugh when a wig fall off. You guys are doing everything. You guys.
Now we're getting to the core issue. The leverage these players think they have only exists because of the audience Caitlin Clark brought, but they've spent the entire season alienating that audience. And the owners know it. Look at what happened after Clark's injury. The WNBA playoffs in September and October 2024 saw viewership drop below pre-Clark levels. Games that should have been showcases for the league's depth instead proved that the casual audience Clark brought wasn't sticking around for anyone else. The hardcore fans were still there, same as always. But the millions of new viewers, gone. The Players Association started making public demands in November 2024. They wanted 50% revenue sharing, up from the current model. They wanted chartered flights for all travel, which costs roughly $25 million per season. They wanted higher minimum salaries, better per diem, expanded rosters, and guaranteed contracts. On paper, these aren't unreasonable requests for a growing league. But here's the problem. The league isn't actually growing without Clark on the court. The owners looked at the unrivaled numbers. They looked at the post-injury WNBA ratings. They looked at the social media engagement metrics, and they realized something the players haven't accepted yet. This isn't sustainable leverage. This is a bubble created by one player, and that player just watched her teammates and opponents treat her fans like garbage for 6 months.
And I feel like that's really unfair to now say that you have all this momentum and you have all this viewership and the WNBA is in the position that it's at. It's in the position that it's at because of these new fans that you said were horrible from the jump. The new fans want to stick around. The new fans who have never watched the WNBA were like, wow, I didn't realize there was so much drama in this. And again, this is no blame on one player. This is no blame on one person in this league, but there's just been too much. In the last 2 years, the WNBA and the WNBPA has done so much wrong.
The WNBA Players Association made a critical, tactical error. They started negotiating through Instagram posts and Twitter threads instead of keeping it in the boardroom. In December 2024, the WNBPA posted graphics claiming the owners were negotiating in bad faith and hiding financial information. The owners responded 48 hours later with a public statement that included the word false 6 times. They called the Players Association liars. In writing. With receipts, that's when the owners stopped responding to calls and emails. They went dark, and the players panicked, which led to more public statements, which made them look more desperate, which weakened their position further. This is negotiation malpractice. You don't win labor disputes by looking desperate on social media. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark has said exactly nothing about any of this. She's rehabbing her ankle, staying off social media, and letting everyone else fight. which is the smartest move she could possibly make because every day this drags on. Every day the ratings stay low. Every day Unrivaled struggles to hit 50,000 viewers. Her value becomes more undeniable.
They're more worried with trying to win public perception because they see the tide. The tide is turning. People are starting to see the WNBA, the ownership point of view, more and more. The WNBPA is so focused on trying to win people's opinion over and all of this stuff rather than just handling business and getting it done. And that's why the WNBA owner, think about this, the WNBPA was taking shots at the owners on Instagram. So much so that the owners had to come out and say that the WNBPA is lying. They are liars. They're lying about the state of the investigation. They're lying about, like, they had to come out and respond publicly because the
Here's what actually happened with Dejanai Carrington on September 3rd, 2024. During a playoff game, Carrington's wig shifted during play. A fan laughed. Security escorted that fan out of the arena. Carrington posted about it afterward, saying the fan was being disrespectful to black women. The fan was a black woman herself. This became a national story for 3 days. Or take the Dearica Hamby situation in January 2025. Hamby signed with the Fever in the offseason, played 3 games, then requested a trade to Phoenix to be closer to family. When she returned to Indianapolis in February, Fever fans booed her during introductions. Kalea Copper, playing for Phoenix, called out the fans on Twitter, saying they had no class for booing someone who made a personal family decision. Except fans boo players who leave their teams in literally every sport. That's normal. But in the WNBA, it became evidence of toxic fan culture. These incidents add up. Each one pushes away casual fans who just wanted to watch basketball and don't understand why everything has to be a cultural battle.
They want to capitalize off all the people you brought here, but they call these same people racist no matter what skin color they are. They get investigated. They do all of this stuff. So I guess at the end of the day, it's all Caitlin Clark's fault. This is nasty, y'all. Get down in the comments. Let me know what you think. This is Keep the Vision.
So here's where we actually are as we head into March 2025. The current CBA expires in October 2025. If a new deal isn't reached by then, the 2026 season gets canceled. The owners are in no rush because they know the players need the league more than the league needs most of the players. That sounds harsh, but look at the evidence. Unrivaled is paying top players between $75,000 and $100,000 for 8 weeks of basketball. That's good money for a short season. But it's not replacing WNBA salaries, and more importantly, it's not building sustainable careers. The ratings prove there's no audience for women's basketball without the WNBA infrastructure and without Caitlin Clark specifically. The Players Association is demanding things that would cost the league approximately $60 million more per year than the current structure. The league's total revenue in 2024 was around $200 million. They're asking for a 30% increase in costs based on 1 season of elevated revenue that was entirely dependent on one player who got injured and whose fans they spent 6 months insulting. From the owner's perspective, why would you agree to that? Why would you lock yourself into massive new expenses based on ratings that disappeared the moment Clark went down? Why would you reward players who have actively worked to alienate the audience that made those ratings possible? The players keep pointing to the one successful season as proof the WNBA has turned a corner. The owners are pointing at every other data point, before and after Clark, and saying, show us this is sustainable, and the players can't, because it's not yet. Maybe not ever if they keep treating Clark's fans like the enemy. Think about this from Caitlin Clark's perspective. She's watching players who cheap-shotted her all season, who mocked her fans, who questioned her legitimacy, who claimed she was only popular because of racism, now using her impact as leverage to get paid. And when she comes back healthy for the 2025 season, she's going to be expected to generate those same ratings again, while those same players continue the same behavior. Why would she go all out for that? Why would she do media appearances to promote the league? Why would she encourage her fans to support other players? The owners see this too. They know Clark could easily dial back her effort, take her talents to Europe for more money, or just play out her contract and leave for a new league. She's got options. The leverage isn't with the Players Association, it's with the one player they spent a year trying to diminish. Here's what makes this particularly messy. The WNBA's new media rights deal with ESPN, Amazon and NBC starts in 2026. That deal is worth $2.2 billion over 11 years. That's real money, about $200 million per year, triple the previous deal. But that deal was negotiated based on the assumption that Caitlin Clark would be playing and generating the ratings that justified those numbers. If there's no 2026 season, those networks have an out clause. They can renegotiate based on changed circumstances. And if they do renegotiate, it won't be for more money. It'll be for less, much less. Because they'll have a full year of data showing that WNBA ratings without Clark on the court aren't worth what they agreed to pay. So the Players Association is playing chicken with a lockout, thinking the owners will blink because of the media deal. But the owners know the media deal is only valuable if Clark is playing and if the audience she brings actually stays. Neither of those things is guaranteed. The players are negotiating like they have leverage, when really they're holding a hand grenade with the pin pulled. Watch what happens over the next 6 months. Either the Players Association accepts something close to the owner's current offer, or we get a lockout, and when we come back from that lockout, the deal will be worse than what they could get right now. That's how this always works. The players who hold out always lose, and Caitlin Clark, she'll be fine either way. She's got endorsement deals worth more than most WNBA careers. She doesn't need the league the way the league needs her. That's the real power dynamic here. That's why the owners aren't blinking. And that's why, yeah, in a weird way, this whole mess really is Caitlin Clark's fault, because she was too good, too popular, and too big for a league that wasn't ready for what she brought. The question isn't whether there will be a 2026 season. The question is what that season looks like when it finally happens, and whether the players who spent 2024 pushing away the new audience will still have that audience to come back to. So what do you think? Are the players right to push for more while they have momentum? Or are the owners right to call their bluff? Drop your take in the comments, because this is only getting messier from here.